Our first experiment with food colouring is called Rainbow in a Jar. And we are going to make a layered, coloured rainbow. Kind of. There's no rain involved, thank goodness. But you need to understand a science concept called density. Now, density means the amount of stuff that can fit inside a space. And we're going to be using another science word called solution, which is when you mix something into a liquid and it dissolves together, it creates a solution. So density, solution, two big words we need to know. And the reason we need to know them is because they are why our experiment will work. So I'm going to show you what it is and we'll talk a little bit about density and solution.
This is our equipment list for today's experiment. 5 glasses, white sugar or whatever sugar you have, 4 different food colorings, and a tablespoon that we're going to measure the sugar into each glass with. Step 1, line up your empty glasses. Okay, now I put my tablespoon into this measuring jar because I know that 1 tablespoon is 15 milliliters. So 1 into the first jar, 2 into the second jar. You have to measure carefully because we're doing a scientific investigation. 3 into the third one. 4 into the fourth one. And now we're going to add the same amount of water to each container, which is 45 mils. And now we're going to stir, because we want the sugar to dissolve. As we go along, each cup, the density is increasing because there's more sugar. So I used slightly warm water just to help it dissolve. The ones with more sugar will need a bit more dissolving. Remember that dissolving is when the solid becomes part of the liquid and our sugar is dissolving into the liquid, making a solution. I'm going to have to keep mixing the one with a lot of sugar in it. Next comes food colouring. We just want a couple of drops because we don't want to make it too dark. And then we're going to mix again. Now this is the trickiest part. We have our container that we're going to try and layer the coloured solutions in. We want the heaviest one, the one with the most sugar, to go at the bottom. And you have to pour it in slowly, and as each layer builds, you're trying not to mix them together. So you need a spoon to help you. The first one is quite easy. You can just make sure it's mixed. Oh, it feels very syrupy almost. And then we'll just put that one on the bottom. I'm going to make sure all my sugar goes in there because that's part. Okay, we have our bottom layer here. So I'm going to take the next layer, make sure it is mixed up nicely so that all the sugar has become part of the solution. And then I'm going to, and I'm a bit nervous, I'm going to put a spoon over here, because what we actually want to do is try not to disturb that bottom layer by pouring really gently onto the back of the spoon. I'm even going a bit quick. Can you see how it's spreading out onto the top of the orange layer rather than mixing in? That's why I'm helping myself by using this spoon. You've got to go really slowly. My goodness, we can see the layer. The more dense solution is on the bottom. Okay. Here we go with the next layer, the spoon again. Oh, these colours are quite close together. Oh, I can see it, it's spreading out on top. This is a red one, so it's quite a dark red one. You have to look for the line between the green and the red. And then I'm making a bit of a mess, but that's okay. I'm going to do my last layer. This is the lightest or the least dense layer. It has the least amount of sugar in it. So you can see orange, blue, and these two layers. I think I put a bit too much dye in there and they're a bit too dark, but we'll let it settle and you can see the different layers. I've put mine into the sunlight. You can see that the yellow, green, red, blue. Red and blue are a bit too close. I shouldn't have put quite so much of the blue dye in there. I hope your layers are a bit clearer. If I had more time, I probably would have poured a bit more slowly. Eventually they'll mix together. But it's pretty beautiful.
Okay, density. Now, each amount of water is the same, but the amount of sugar that we put in to make the solution changed, which means we're changing the density of the water. So density, remember, is the amount of stuff in a space. So we've got the same amount of space in each glass, but the more sugar in the one glass, the more dense that solution is. And things that are dense are heavy. So the dense solution sinks down to the bottom. And the solution that's a bit less dense, because it's got a bit less sugar in it, will sit on top of it. So it's the layers are caused by how much density is in our solutions. How amazing is that? Eventually, they'll all mix together and the rainbow will sadly go away. But for now, it's a rainbow of density as well as of colour. Science is almost like magic, isn't it? So much fun.